You are now tuned into the best damn sports recap show. It is the United Football Media, DAR Sports Media on United Football Media, bringing you the NFL show. A little bit of programming notes. I'm down here. I look like a wrestler who wetted my hair before I came out here. We're fitting these things in where we can during the holidays. There's a bunch of stuff happening in the UFL right now, man. Coaches being shown the door, new coaches being introduced. There's a rumor that there's a draft coming up January 13th and the 14th. As soon as we get more details on that, we will have UFL tell me about it coming up. The original, the mothership, coming up in the next few weeks whenever all those details get settled. A lot of stuff's happening all at once. The college football show that we put out last week is still relevant because we gave betting lines, score picks, analysis of the games. So go check that out. It's on the page still right now, and in the coming weeks, next week or the week after, we will have a new college football show covering the results of the CFP and this crazy Sharon Moore situation. Crazy situation developing also with the coach of the Ohio football Bobcats as well, that we'll be talking about. Kind of a similar situation, it sounds like, as far as shenanigans. Probably not to the same level, but me and True are in here to discuss one of the most high quality, one of the craziest NFL weekends that has happened in a long, long time, and looking forward this weekend. We're recording this Friday morning. This weekend has kicked off in a manner that says that we're going to continue what we started last week as far as these NFL weekends being insane, because the Seahawks and the Rams had one of the greatest regular season games of all time last night. Completely wild. Seahawks coming back from a huge deficit. Sam Darnold looked like he was Sam Darnolding. He was turning back into a pumpkin and then rallied out of that and had a fantastic game to lead a fantastic comeback. The Rams, man, they have all this elite talent. They have a prospective MVP quarterback, but they can be had, and we've seen it. We saw them give up a multiple score lead against the Eagles. We saw them give up a multiple score lead last night against the Seahawks, and we've seen them get beat by a backup quarterback, 3 backup receivers, and 2 backup offensive linemen with the San Francisco 49ers. So the Rams at times could look like Galactus, universe beaters, but at other times they fold and they give up losses that a lot of people would agree they probably shouldn't be giving up. So that is something to keep your eye on. If you got comments about last night's game, you can go ahead. But the biggest thing that I'm here to discuss, I think maybe you were here to discuss, Grant Cohn, big time writer out there, the Bay Area. He asked a question on Twitter. He said, if you had $1,000 to put down, and it was for everything, it was for the best you could do, everything you have in life, who would you bet to win the Super Bowl right now? And I had to say the Denver Broncos, baby, because what I saw on Sunday, what I've been seeing, elite defense, elite pass rush, Bo Nix piss missiles. When that dude is on it, when he is in the zone, he was making throws that were just out of this world on Sunday, going toe-to-toe with another team that a lot of people thought had title game aspirations, the Green Bay Packers. Those things might have changed with the ACL injury to Michael Parsons, unfortunately. But elite defense, elite pass rusher, an offense that's improving, arrow up, Bo Nix, who's improving, arrow up, and a coach who already has championship pedigree. If I had to pick one team right now, Friday, December 19th, I'm going with the Denver Broncos. Thoughts and prayers, they're true.
Well, I'm never one to get too ahead of myself, especially in terms of like playoffs. It's one win, win or you're out, win or lose. So I will say, for them to be where they are right now, if they could get it done against the Jaguars, I might be where you are. I might be where you are. And I think
another big game this week.
And I feel like they will, and if anybody knows me, the Jaguars' downfall is all that I'm always asking for. And they've done considerably well this year for themselves, the Jaguars. But I just feel like that the Broncos defense, that was a calling card for the Broncos for a long time. For a long time, it's been that. And I mean, like the last couple of years, it's been up and down. Obviously, like the Von Miller years were full of the defense got you there. Peyton Manning's new to him, got you there. Now you got somebody who's capable in Bo Nix. Obviously not perfect, but like you said, the offense is trending up. They are able to score. We've had less of those games where they're down 20 points and got to rally back, and so if they're forming their identity and coming into the best version of themselves at this point of the season, and I think uh, it is the Broncos pretty much Super Bowl to lose at that point, because I don't trust the Bills like that. I have a interesting take on how it's going to go this week for the Bills. I have a strong prediction because I don't believe in the Bills, and also want to quickly go back to the Rams and Seahawks. Phenomenal game by Matthew Stafford. Phenomenal game. He is, in my opinion, the MVP this season. For one, he's 1,000,000 years old on that field. And speaking of somebody who's 1,000,000 years old, we'll talk about another game.
Almost, he did all right.
That went down, and it's funny because he went against the Seahawks, so it's interesting. But I think for the Seahawks, I think that Rams and Seahawks game, that was a quick turnaround for the it was a quick turnaround for them.
Insane wins by them in a matter of 4 or 5 days.
And they just got it, and they got it done. And it comes down to the wire every single time, but they get it done. Will they get it done in the playoffs? Probably not. But I mean, Matthew Stafford, phenomenal game. Your defense let you down. Your defense let you down completely. I know that 2-point conversion in the fourth, there's some controversy about that. Is what it is. But I know for a fact that everything I saw from Matthew Stafford, phenomenal MVP type performance. Just they couldn't get it done, and in that NFC West, man, it is a dog fight. It is a dog fight between 3 teams that all have championship aspirations. Obviously, between those 3, Rams and 49ers, I trust more than the Seahawks when we get to. But the Seahawks have such a phenomenal set of offensive players. They have such a you got Zach, you got Kate Walker out there, you got JSN out there, you got all these guys. I mean, even you got AJ Barner who went out there and had a phenomenal play. Cooper Kupp is obviously not the Cooper Kupp of before, but he can still get it, still get you something. So they have some good players. They have a good set, a good roster. So I'm anxious to see how this plays out. I mean, we got a couple games left, and it's anybody's, it's anybody's game now. So, but back to the Broncos point, like I said, man, I want to see and I want to believe in the Broncos. I believe they have enough to get the number 1 seed, which then to me makes it even harder because it's tough to go into Denver. It's tough to go into Denver and win games, especially in the playoffs. The elevation in Denver, just everything about Denver is hard. So if you can get that number 1 seed and everybody got to come to the crib to play you, and you got your defense, and it's colder. You're used to playing in cold weather. Buffalo Bills might be used to playing in cold weather, but if you get like a Houston Texans or a Jacksonville Jaguars or somebody like that coming in for a divisional game or the championship game, you might have an advantage there. Just because of that, they got to play in that cold weather. And in Denver in January, it is cold as hell. So, I mean, I'm in Cincinnati, and right now it's like 20 degrees with wind chill, making it feel like 9 degrees outside. It was just -3. Imagine going into Denver and having to play in that. So I'm almost on board. But if you ask me who I would put $1,000 on, which I would never put $1,000 on anything, right now, I'd still probably unsure put money on the Broncos just because of the fandom part of it. I'm like, yeah, sure. If I'm gonna waste $1,000, I'll just put it on the Broncos. But I can't look at any team right now and be like, yeah, they're gonna get it done. And I keep seeing people saying, oh, there's no Patrick Mahomes, there's no Joe Burrow, there's no Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. Josh Allen's got to get it done. He just announced pregnancy with Haley Steinfeld. He's got to get it done. When he does not get it done, and when it does not happen, I don't want to hear any stupid ass conversations. I don't want to hear these conversations anymore. I'm tired of hearing
them.
them.
Crashing down and it hurts inside.
And also, can we give credit to James Cook? Can we give credit to James Cook, who is a vital piece? If you want to prop up Josh Allen, make sure you prop up James Cook, man. Jonathan Taylor is the leading running back this year. James Cook is right there.
Yeah.
James Cook is right there. Last year, you could say, okay, James Cook didn't do this. Josh Allen won MVP because they felt like he didn't have enough help and was still getting it done, even though I said Lamar should have won it last year. Whatever, that's whatever. This year, now all of a sudden, Josh Allen is creeping into the conversations. Okay, I get it. They had a great comeback win against the Patriots, who just took their foot off the gas. But let's look at what they did in the beginning of that game. They were getting crushed. They've lost to what? Miami. They lost to what? The Falcons? Like, this is not a guy who, and Josh Allen's a great quarterback. I mean, one of the best, obviously, in the league. But that doesn't take away from the fact that the Bills do not look like a championship team. They look like a team that all they need is one bad game when you go in, especially if you got to play in the wild card. You go against that Texas defense, you might have some trouble.
Yeah.
So that's where I just want people to be realistic about what's happening. Josh Allen wins his MVP this year. It'll be another forced MVP, a forced narrative. The propaganda and the PR stuff for him. I know people think, oh yeah, he's like, I get it. I get when I look at American sports, North American sports, I know what he represents for a lot of people, and I won't go deep into it. If this was a different show, I would go more into it. But I know what he represents for a lot of people. The squeaky clean guy, he's got the beautiful girlfriend, wife, and then that. Like, he represents what people feel like an athlete should be and look like, and this and that and the other. Like, I get it. And he's in Buffalo, whatever. Buffalo has a history, long history of just can't get it done. And look, if they somehow get it done, I'll admit I was wrong. I don't see it, and I just feel like when the Cleveland Browns take them down to the wire this week, and people are surprised they see Shador stunting on them, stunting on that defense, because that defense is not what people think it is. I think maybe it'll start to resonate, and I also just want to say Josh Allen has had some decent performances in the playoffs. Obviously, you ran into Patrick Mahomes, you ran into Joe Burrow before, you ran into a couple of people. But now you got to run into some of the toughest defenses you're going to face.
Yeah,
it's different.
Oh, Bears mentioning, after we were doing the big Shador crash out last week, it was a very poor game this week. Statistically, the thing, man, I watched that team because I wanted to see both quarterbacks, going at it. I wanted to watch Caleb Williams. I wanted to watch Shador. That Browns coach, they just do stupid shit every single week. Like, they had fourth and tic tac. It was the amount of space they had to get was the length of a tic tac on fourth and short, and they called out the damn punter. It was damn near at midfield. It took, I think the Bears took 2 plays to get back to where they punted from, and then they were scoring a touchdown, and then it was 14-3, and now you have your rookie quarterback whose pass pro has been struggling all year, trying to come back from 14-3, and the wheels came off from there. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You have to maintain drives, man. Fourth and tic tac. It was because it was originally ruled a first down. That's how close it was. Shador ran, slid, and it was so close that they originally ruled it a fourth down. That's how minuscule the amount of space they needed to get was. Instead, they called for this mincing Frady Cat punt and paid for it. I think the Bears drive after that was 6 plays. And then they're in the end zone touchdown, 14-3. And now you're relying on a rookie quarterback with struggling pass protection to try and rally you back from all those points down, and it was a shit show. Not great, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Also,
who's not going to be standing in Josh Allen's way this year? And this is not celebratory, man. We like to see great players make great plays. and it's a shame because we were all ready to go. We had the confetti, we had the sleeping bags and the snacks, and we were ready to have like this whole party about the Chiefs dynasty being over. And then Patrick Mahomes had to go and get the Gumby leg there at the end of the game. I damn near, what was it, 3 plays before the game was over anyways. That's what's crazy and sucks too. We don't like to see nobody get hurt. Sleeping good because the Chiefs are gone and done, but that's a shame how it all ended up. But it ain't gonna be the Chiefs standing in the way of Josh Allen this year.
I will say this about the Chiefs, though, really quick. I will say people should absolutely fear what happens in the offseason for the Chiefs, because nothing wakes up a dynasty that slipped than having all this happen. So now you're going to be like, we getting him. He's coming back, and we get him the right players. Travis Kelce was on his podcast and kept saying the Chiefs. So he out of there. He's over with, and good, good. But that's good. You need an upgrade from a Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice is good, but I don't think he's a wide receiver 1. That's not your 1. He could be a 2. He could be a 3. They had Xavier Worthy out there, not really doing much. Not really doing much. They had Juju out there and got Hollywood Brown. Like, these are not a talented enough core for you to make things happen with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. And someone said this, a couple people said this, their offense has not looked the same in a few years. Their defense had been their calling card.
Yeah.
You have to restructure. Maybe it's time to get a new coordinator in there. Somebody else. I won't speak on the current coordinator, but they need somebody else in there that can maximize their potential. You don't become a dynasty with this. But this is Mahomes magic. Mahomes magic. You have to have everything. Their run game is still not up to par. Pacheco did not live up to expectations. Kareem Hunt obviously is still, he's not what he was some years ago. So now you have to find and pivot. You have to find and pivot to something that's going to maximize these last years of Mahomes' prime. And he just had a very terrible injury. So now you have to also worry about how is he going to come back from that. I'm sure he'll come back fine. Mahomes is a hell of a competitor, regardless of if you like the guy or not. He is a hell of a competitor, and he is going to go, and he's going to come back better and more focused than ever. And if you win the 5 Super Bowls and won 3, you don't necessarily need an injury, but sometimes you need something like this to be like, oh, we didn't make the playoffs. This is an embarrassment.
A new thing to.
I'm not used to this. Boom, I'm gonna come back, and I'd be scared if I were the rest of the league, because it's like, man, if he come back and he come back healthy, come back well rested, he's not playing in the February. Obviously, he's injured, but he's not playing in the February this year again. So he's rested. The defense is gonna come back. They're gonna retool, reshape some contracts, all this other stuff. So, glad to see that the Chiefs are not gonna be there, because it makes for a more unpredictable playoffs. And it'll be even better when Josh Allen gets eliminated, because then it'll really be unpredictable. And I don't have to hear, what's my guy, Dan
Orlovsky.
Yeah, I don't have to hear him. He's a paid shill for the Buffalo Bills. I don't have to hear him. Oh, yeah, this guy, this. I don't want to hear that. I don't have to hear Chris Collinsworth run his mouth about Mahomes. This is great. This is great. This is great.
One of my favorite guys that I listen to, Bonnie Jones, he mentioned that, to your point about the coordinators, Chiefs haven't looked the same since Eric Bieniemy left.
That's a fact.
And obviously there's been a lot has happened and a lot has been said about his journey since he left the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe that's the answer this offseason. Maybe they make a phone call, reunite, if that's even possible. If that relationship is not in a place, I'm not saying that that's what was out there. It's just there's been a lot of things out there about relationships and that guy and whatever. But maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's what they need to get some of the magic back.
But it's true. It's funny because you got the Dolphins, Dolphin stuff in the background, and it's like one of the vital pieces to what the Chiefs were doing went to go play for the Dolphins. Obviously, he's out as well, but Tyreek Hill was like the cheat code for them. He was a cheat code for him. And now you don't have that cheat code. So now you don't have all these things anymore.
That Bills win that you talk, or when they beat the Bills in that game, he basically single-handedly did that.
Yeah.
If you remember, it was just supposed to be like your typical, like, oh, dump off, and then the defense backs off, plays off, they let the guy catch it and tackle him underneath. Well, the problem with that was Tyreek Hill was able to cover about 20 yards in about 2 seconds.
Yep.
So that made that strategy not work. And that's kind of how a lot of people forget that. It was just a little dump off pass, a quick one with the 13 seconds that was left. But Tyreek Hill was so damn fast that he covered almost 20 yards in almost no time at all. And that's what got them in position to complete another couple passes, make that field goal, get that win eventually. So yeah, that's there as well. And to your point, the Bills are not beating the Texans right now. If the Bills come up against the Texans, because you mentioned the Texans, they ain't beating them. That defense, the way it's playing right now, offense arrow up, no skill. The Bills' skill players still struggling to get separation. They got one of the best secondaries in Houston. They ain't beating the Texans. They ain't beating the Broncos. But I guess we'll see. Speaking of the Broncos, is that your number one you're looking forward to this weekend? We're gonna fraud check both the Broncos and the Jaguars. Well, I think 2 games are sticking out to us: Jaguars, Broncos, and then this NFC South situation with the first place Carolina Panthers. Baby, everybody had that on their board coming into the season, right? But talk to me about whichever things are sticking out to you coming up in this weekend.
It's not a lot, honestly. The Patriots and Ravens game, I actually have an interest in as well, because the Pats, after that embarrassing loss to the Bills, which that should have just been a straight up, they should have cleaned the Bills up. That was it, and I thought that would be the statement win for them, which I'm glad they didn't, though, because that allows the Broncos to be right in prime position to get number 1 seed. So I'm totally fine with that, but. I feel like the Jaguars are in for a rude awakening this week. I think we've seen them be good. Trevor Lawrence has been whatever this year, and they've got some great players over there, some solid players. But obviously, I wish for their downfall, just because of who owns them and who runs them. But I also don't, like I said, I still don't believe their hype. I've never believed their hype, no matter what. I just don't believe it. So. When I look at it, I'm like, okay, Broncos, don't get too lax now. Don't get too relaxed. They're coming into your house. Show the world these next however many games. Show them why you need to be believed in. Show them why you're the real deal, because you've beaten a lot of teams that people did not expect you to beat. And honestly, outside of one of the losses, they got 2 losses. One of those losses. Both of those losses really were stupid losses. You could have won both of those games. You could have won both those games. So I feel like the Broncos, they're not getting smoked in any game, completely smoked. They go down 10, 20 points and can come back. And that's resilience. That's the resilience that you're going to need in the playoffs. So I feel like the Broncos will come out and be successful this week. The Jaguars defense is cool. I don't necessarily see this being one of those games where the Broncos get stifled on offense like they were earlier in the season. They had their struggles on offense, and then they make a comeback, and it just makes that last Broncos and Chiefs game not coming up not really feel like much now, because look, that's be an easy win when it happens. But I got the Broncos winning that one. I got the Panthers beating the Buccaneers also. I think the Buccaneers just, what a free fall.
One team is on the way up and one team is on the way down.
What a free fall for a team that seemed like the
clear we loved at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, but injuries happen, and then the protection for Baker Mayfield, he obviously wasn't 100%, not 100%, far from it. And that's just what happens, man. It's a long season. We're talking 18 weeks in a season. It happens, and this is what happens. The Panthers, a team that was looked at right there with, I think the Buccaneers and the Falcons were expected to be the top 2 in that division, And here we are now. Like the Panthers have completely obliterated all expectations, and they have a chance to win this division and make the playoffs. Are they stopping anybody in the playoffs? Probably not. But that's not the point. They have something. They have the opportunity and the chance to go out there and make it happen. So I got the Broncos and the Panthers winning. And like I said, otherwise, this is a very
Well,
week.
there's some implications because let's go over some implications here. So Texans are playing the Raiders. So
Yeah.
we're looking probably at a win there. They split the series 1-1 with Jacksonville coming into that. So if Jacksonville doesn't get it done against Denver, there might be some more advanced tiebreakers. But in general, it puts them in a very good position. The Texans do to take over that division. Furthermore, this Liam Cohen system and his play calling and what he's done with Trevor Lawrence down there has it almost looking like, hey, is this finally happening? Is this the Trevor Lawrence that we were all expecting to see coming out of college? He's putting up some real big numbers, real good numbers the last couple of weeks. Well, now he's going to Denver to play against an elite defense. Now we're going to see. Now we are going to see. I think that's what makes it a good prove it for like everybody involved. Denver going against another team that's a division leader. Jacksonville trying to show up there for real. Going into that environment with Trevor Lawrence, that new system. Is this for real? Is he legit? Can he get it done against this defense? And then the Texans with an opportunity, if the Jaguars drop that game, to possibly pull even with them and take the lead in the division. Monday night, we alluded to earlier, Papa Rivers, he did all right. He looked good. I was screaming every time when they would get pressure. They would come through a blitz. I'm like, no, don't hit him. He took some hits. He was all right. He did enough. He did more than, honestly, I think you would get out of some of the other quarterbacks on that roster right now. So they almost pulled it off against the Seahawks. They are going against the Niners on Monday night. The Niners who, if they win out because of that Seattle LA Rams result, if they win out, will be the number 1 seed in the NFC. I don't know if I want to use the word slept on, because slept on usually implies that they are better than the attention that they've been getting. And I don't know if the Niners really are better than the attention that they've been getting. And that's coming from, a lifelong diehard Niners fan. But the roster and the issues is the roster and the issues. They only have 16 sacks this year. That's like dead last in the NFL. That is probably now Matt Judon just got released from the Dolphins to go pursue possibly catching on with a contender. I'm not saying Matt Judon is going to all of a sudden leap the Niners pass rush up into the top 10, but they need all the help they can get right now. So I don't know if slept on is the right word, but nobody is talking about the Niners. And quietly, Brock Purdy has had 2 of his best games, in my opinion, 2 of his best games ever the last 2 weeks. He was getting into really bad habits of, I don't know if the pressure of a poor season last year. I don't know if it's the pressure of the big deal he got in the offseason. I don't know what was making him do the crazy things that he was doing in the beginning of this season and for a lot of last season. But the last 2 weeks, he has done what he did in 2023 and what the Niners need him to do, which is take what the defense gives you, play within the system, don't force things. If read 1, 2, 3. If they're not there, then run it, pick up 3, try again the next play, dump it off to CMC. Don't push for the big plays when the big plays are there. If you conduct the offense the way it's supposed to be conducted, you're going to start getting defensive backs to creep up. You're going to get them to start not paying attention to their deep responsibilities, and then the plays will be there, and then you take them when they are there. He has been doing that, and he's been doing that at an incredible rate of efficiency the last 2 weeks. Other than that, though, the roster is lacking. We're back to wide receiver 3, 4, and 5, starting as wide receiver 1, 2, and 3. All the injuries on the defense. So it's kind of like, okay, they've done what they're supposed to do. They've beat the teams they're supposed to beat. They're doing there's some players, Kyle Shanahan doing a fantastic coaching job with all the moving parts and all the injuries. But I don't know if I want to call them slept on. I feel like they've done what they should do. And I hope that they went out and you can change some narratives. You go out there and whip the Colts. I mean, I know the quarterback situation is crazy, but they took Seattle to the limit. They're still a good team front to back. It's just a really, really tough situation at quarterback. You go out there and whoop the Colts. You go out there and beat Seattle in a couple weeks. Maybe teams, maybe people and people around start looking at you a little bit differently as a prospective number 1 seed. That is what will happen if the 49ers win their last 3 games. They will be the NFC's number 1 seed. And then who the hell knows what happens after that? We know a lot of exciting stuff is coming down the pike here on United Football Media. Also, if you're listening to us on DAR, check out our Christmas movie blowout we did last week. Ton of fun, ton of good stuff. I threw some funny stuff in there. If you want to actually watch the video, there's there's a little bit of comedy put in there with some images. Check out our Christmas movie blowout. The college football show will be back soon. Sharon Moore, college football playoffs results. We'll be talking about those. And we will be firing up a UFL. Tell me about it in the next couple of weeks as this dust continues to settle from Mike Rapoli taking over the league, hiring A.J. McCarron and Ted Ginn, locally sourced coaches, first-time coaches to coach these teams, the Birmingham Stallions, the Columbus Aviators. A lot of interesting stuff, a lot of changes, a lot of upheaval going on over there in the UFL. We'll break it all down in the coming weeks. So stay tuned to the page. This is United Football Media. Tell me about it.